Alright, so let's talk about examples 3, 4, and 5. Example 3 should be pretty straightforward. You get... Okay, so we have this geometric sequence. The first term is 4. Common ratio is 1/2. We're looking for the 9th term. So plug in 9 minus 1 is 8 into our formula. You should get 64. Math here, not too complicated. You okay? If you didn't get this, we can pause the video and double check the work, but you should be getting to 64. Example 4. Again, it's kind of plug and chug. What do we know? We know the first term. We can figure out the common ratio is -1/3. Should be able to get that formula for the nth. 6 times -1/3 to the n minus 1. The 10th term is going to be -2 over 6561. The one that gets kind of tricky is example 5. Because example 5, we don't know the first term. We don't know the common ratio. All we know is that the second term is -18, and the 5th term is 2/3. We also know from our magic formula that the second term is a1 times the constant ratio. Right, that's how we get the second term. You take the first term, multiply by whatever that constant ratio is. 5th term is a1 times r to the 4th. So we have 2 equations, 2 variables. Right, we can ignore these guys. a1 times r is -18. a1 r to the 4th is 2/3. System of equations. 2 equations, 2 variables. We can solve this if we're clever. One sneaky thing we could do is try dividing the equations. Right? If you have a1 r to the 4th divided by a1 to the r, which is -18 over 2/3. Okay, I could write that, right? a1 r to the 4th is -18. Or, I did that wrong. I did that upside down. 2/3 over -18. I'm sorry. a1 r to the 4th is 2/3. a1r is -18. And what's kind of cool here, a1 and a1, I can cancel this out. R to the 4th divided by r is just r cubed. And on the right-hand side, you can do the fraction. R cubed is -1/27. Take a cube root. R is going to be -1/3. So now we know r. Now we can substitute in, figure out what that first term is. Let's substitute into the first equation. a1 times -1/3 is -18, which means a1 equals 54. Multiply both sides by -3. And now we know the first term. We know the constant ratio. So you can write yourself the general formula. And we'll say 54 times -1/3. Ooh, I wish I could pause this so I could do my math. Anyways, this should work out to be 54. No. 6th term. Oh, 6th term. We know the 5th term, right? The 5th term is 2/3. To get the 6th term, we'll multiply by -1/3. So a6 is going to be -2/9. Right? Does that make sense? Because we know what a5 is 2/3. We know that to get to the next term, you always multiply by -1/3. So 2/3 times -1/3 gives you -2/9. Cool. Alright, I'm going to pause here. If you need to go over and check your work again, or if we need to watch this video again, in a second we'll start talking about geometric series, what it means and how we add up a bunch of terms in a geometric sequence. So that'll be in a few minutes.